To prevent muscle loss, which is even more terrifying than eating eggs, you must eat eggs this way. Discover the secret to filling up on protein right now. It breaks my heart to see that you're so passionate about fixing your health, but the very methods you use are actually slowly killing you. It's especially heartbreaking to hear from seniors who, after hearing that their kidneys are even slightly damaged, are so terrified that they say, "From today on, I won't even eat meat or eggs." It's as dangerous as an airplane turning off its engines mid-flight to save fuel. That's exactly what happened to 73-year-old Choi Jong-mi, who walked into my clinic last month. She had always been diligent about maintaining her health so as not to worry her children. But when she learned about it again after just 6 months, I couldn't believe my eyes. His face was pale, and the reassuring touch I'd felt when shaking hands with him was gone, leaving the bones on the back of his hand exposed. I cautiously asked him what had happened, and he told me that after hearing from the local hospital that his kidney function had dropped slightly, he had never eaten even a single egg or piece of fish, his favorite foods. He said he was terrified that his kidneys would fail further and he would have to go on dialysis. So he endured by making vegetables and side dishes. What was the result? Far from improving his kidney function, he now had to support himself against the table to get up from his chair, or his legs would become so weak that he would collapse. I was truly heartbroken to hear that you've given up even going to the market because your legs cramp up every night and you can barely walk a little, making it difficult to breathe. Doctors, this is the most dangerous trap that many seniors in Korea are currently falling into. Our bodies naturally lose 1 point of kidney function each year after the age of 60. Just like machines, they gradually lose function after decades of use. But the problem is muscle. Muscle mass also declines at a frightening rate every year, and statistics show that a significant number of women in Korea over the age of 80 aren't getting even the minimum amount of nutrients needed to maintain muscle mass. If we blindly cut out protein to protect our kidneys, our bodies won't be able to sustain themselves and will begin to erode our muscles. Like a house with rotting pillars, the core of our body collapses. When muscle mass disappears, it's not just about losing energy. When your immune system is depleted, even a mild cold can develop into pneumonia, ultimately leading to a vicious cycle that accelerates the destruction of the kidney function we so desperately strive to protect. This isn't simply a matter of discomfort. It's a matter of survival. That's why I strongly emphasized 3 things to MS. Choi Jong-mi, the magic number 45 that determines whether or not you should eat eggs. How to manage the yolks so your precious blood vessels don't harden like stones. And finally, which of the medications you take without a second thought is the real culprit that's tens of thousands of times more harmful to your kidneys than eggs. If you understand these principles, you can replenish your nutrients without worrying about your kidneys and regain your vitality. Today, I'll explain to you, one by one, the secrets I prescribe to Ms. Choi Jong-mi in a very simple and clear way. If you watch the video all the way to the end, you'll realize, so that's why I've been so down lately, and find the answer. If you're truly curious about today's content, please click the like button and leave a comment. Hope. Each warm comment you leave will be a huge help in helping me provide better health information. If you, like 73-year-old Choi Jong-mi, have cut out protein due to kidney concerns, today is the day to remember this one number, your kidney network score of 45. Let me briefly explain what the kidney network is. Our kidneys contain a staggering 2 million tiny, delicate networks. Teachers, when you make stew, think of the fine sieve that filters out impurities, or the sieve used to make coffee. This sieve works tirelessly 24 hours a day, filtering our urine, expelling harmful waste through urine, and returning essential nutrients to our blood. The kidney sieve score we refer to is a numerical representation of how well these sieves can filter blood per minute. Healthy young people typically score well above 90 points. However, as we age, the sieve gradually wears out and the holes become clogged, causing the score to slowly decline. So, the number 45 is a warning sign that your kidneys aren't as strong as they used to be. So, you need to be extra careful. This single number will be the lifeline that determines whether you can eat a whole egg today or whether you should slightly avoid the yolk. Let me start with the first key solution. If your kidney score is 45 or higher, you absolutely must eat one whole egg every day, yolk included. This isn't optional. It's the most powerful muscle-building supplement that will support you throughout your later years. You might wonder why I'd recommend eating eggs if you have poor kidney function. But the medical evidence is clear. After age 60, our body's muscle-building factories drop by 40% compared to younger people. When you're young, even a small amount of meat can build muscle, but older adults can't absorb even half that amount, even if they eat the same amount. Therefore, older adults should consume at least 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. For example, a 60-kilogram senior needs approximately 72 grams of protein per day. A single egg contains approximately 7 grams of complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids. Eggs, in particular, contain a unique ingredient called nuclein, which triggers muscle building. If your kidney function network score is 45 or higher, this amount of protein is sufficient for your kidney function network to filter, so there's no need to worry. What would happen if you completely avoided eggs due to kidney concerns? Trying to save on the gate net is like losing the very pillars that hold up a house. When our bodies lack energy, the first thing they do is tear down our precious limb muscles and use them for fuel. Without muscle, we lose the raw materials for creating immune cells, making us vulnerable to illnesses like colds and pneumonia. Later, when kidney function deteriorates further, we won't even have the stamina to endure dialysis. That's why, if your kidney net score is 45 or higher, you should definitely consider it a health supplement and consume it at least once a day. The second solution is the guidelines for when your kidney net score drops below 45. In this case, rather than eating egg yolks every day, it's wise to limit your intake to 3 or 4 times a week and focus on egg whites on the remaining days. This doesn't mean you should avoid egg yolks altogether. It's about intelligently managing the amount of phosphorus contained in the yolk. Why is phosphorus in egg yolks a problem? Phosphorus is a good nutrient that strengthens our bones. However, when the kidney function drops below 45 points, it cannot fully excrete the phosphorus component through urine and instead accumulates in the blood. When there is too much phosphorus in the blood, the body declares an emergency and attempts to balance it by forcibly extracting calcium from the bones. Ultimately, the bones become brittle, leading to osteoporosis. The calcium that is lost from the bones also attaches to the walls of blood vessels, hardening them like stones. This is vascular calcification, which can cause heart attacks and strokes. Therefore, those with a score below 45 should wisely adjust their diet by eating whole eggs, including the yolk, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and only eating 2 egg whites on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Eating 2 egg whites can significantly reduce the amount of phosphorus, which is harmful to blood vessels, while still providing protein. Just by doing this, you can keep your muscles strong and perfectly protect your kidneys and blood vessels. Aren't the 45-point rule and the walking net story I talked about today incredibly important? This information isn't just theory. It's survival advice proven by countless clinical data. If you have a friend or relative who is struggling with kidney problems, isn't eating properly, and feels weak, please share this video right now. Your warm sharing can give them hope for walking again. If you found today's content helpful, please share with your friends, and I'll now introduce you to an even more amazing secret to widening kidney blood vessels. More important than what you eat is how you combine it. Ms. Choi Jong-mi, 73, was delighted to learn this method, saying that her digestion improved significantly and she felt lighter. The 3 rules I'm about to share with you are a magical diet that will reduce the burden on your kidneys by half. So please remember them. The third key solution is to always mix eggs with tofu in a 1-to-1 ratio. For example, if you eat 1 egg, add about 1/3 of tofu. Why go through all this hassle? The reason is the special ability of plant-based protein. Isoflavones found in tofu and soybeans gently dilate the blood vessels leading to our kidneys. If you turn on a narrow water pipe with too much water, the pipe will swell as if it's about to burst. Our kidneys are no different. Excessive consumption of animal-based protein overloads the kidneys. However, if you combine it with plant-based protein like tofu, the blood vessels in the kidneys will dilate, allowing urine to flow much more easily. This means that even with the same amount of protein, the pressure felt by the kidneys is significantly reduced. Animal foods build muscle, and plant foods protect the kidneys, so there's no better pair. Yes, the fourth solution lies in the assembly method. If you're concerned about kidney health, you should definitely eat soft-boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs. Avoid deep-fried foods that are deep-fried in oil. Why soft-boiled? The absorption rate of eggs varies dramatically depending on how well they are cooked. When cooked soft-boiled, our bodies absorb over 90% of the nutrients. For seniors with impaired digestive function, there's no better remedy. Conversely, why is frying at high temperatures, which involves frying in oil, bad for you? Cooking protein at high temperatures with oil creates sticky, toxic residue that is difficult for our bodies to break down. This enters the kidneys through the bloodstream and directly attacks kidney cells, impairing their function. Ms. Choi Jong-mi, 73, used to enjoy savory fried foods, but since I mentioned this, she has been eating steamed eggs cooked moistly in a steamer every morning. The fifth solution is the reverse diet, which involves changing the order of your meals. Before putting an egg in your mouth, always eat a plate of fresh vegetables first. This is a very clever strategy to slow the absorption of phosphorus, which can overload your kidneys. The abundant dietary fiber in vegetables forms a thin, mesh-like protective layer in our intestines. This layer prevents the phosphorus in egg from suddenly flooding into the bloodstream and allows it to be absorbed slowly. It's similar to installing speed bumps on the highway to prevent accidents. One last thing to note. When eating eggs, you should avoid spinach and coffee for a while. The calcium in spinach combines with the calcium in eggs to form hard, rock-like clumps, forming kidney stones. The iron in coffee or green tea prevents the body from absorbing the precious iron in eggs. After enjoying a delicious egg, it's best to wait at least 2 hours before enjoying coffee. This is the best courtesy to your kidneys. Teachers, today's content may seem complicated, but remember just one thing. Eat eggs with tofu, cooked softly, at least next. This one small habit can extend your kidney life by more than 10 years. If you found today's video helpful, please be sure to click the subscribe and notification buttons. Every click from you will help us share this valuable survival information with more seniors. Now, I'll reveal the identity of the kidney destroyer that will surprise you, along with Choi Jong-mi's actual daily routine. Choi Eo-sin also restored his health by sticking this meal plan on his refrigerator and following it every day. You too can make small adjustments based on your own kidney network score. It's 7 a.m. Choi Eo-sin wakes up and eats a plate of cabbage salad first thing in the morning. Try thinly shredding the cabbage and adding a drop of sesame oil. This acts as a natural shield to protect the stomach and kidneys. Next, as I mentioned earlier, serve a half-boiled egg and about a quarter of a block of tofu. Adding half a bowl of mixed grain rice makes the perfect breakfast. At noon, make a soybean paste stew with a side of brown rice. Add twice as much tofu as usual. Instead of meat, it's best to eat a piece of fish about half the size of your palm. Curly croaker, hairtail, or mackerel are both great options. However, soups can be hard on the kidneys, so try to stick to dried fish as much as possible. If you're feeling hungry around 3 p.m., I recommend a pack of soy milk instead of milk. Instead of the sweet soy milk sold in stores, choose a plain soy milk made from ground beans. It's much better for your kidneys. And for dinner at 6 p.m., start with stir-fried vegetables, then add a small amount of lean meat like pork shoulder or chicken breast, along with some multigrain rice. Just this alone will provide you with your daily protein needs without putting a strain on your kidneys. Now, I'll clearly answer some of your most frequently asked questions. First, many people worry that eating eggs every day will raise cholesterol and clog their blood vessels. But don't worry. Egg yolks contain lecithin, which effectively prevents cholesterol from being absorbed by the body. Eating 1 egg a day won't significantly affect your blood vessel health, so don't worry. Second, some people ask if foamy urine means kidney failure. In fact, foamy urine itself could be a natural phenomenon. What really matters is how long the foam remains. If 5 minutes have passed since you urinated and the foam still floats, it's highly likely that you have protein fever, which is a leak of protein. You should definitely get a urinalysis. Also, if your lower eyelids are particularly puffy when you wake up in the morning, it's a sign that your kidneys aren't properly regulating fluid levels. Conversely, if your legs and ankles are particularly swollen in the evening, it's likely edema caused by a lack of heart function. Please examine this carefully. Now, I'll reveal one of the most shocking truths of today's story. When your knees or back hurt, you can easily buy pink or green anti-inflammatory painkillers at the pharmacy. In fact, the real culprit destroying the hearts of seniors isn't eggs, but anti-inflammatory painkillers. These medications instantly constrict the blood vessels leading to the kidneys. When blood flow to the kidneys is cut off, cells begin to suffocate and slowly die. Especially for those over 70, taking anti-inflammatory painkillers daily for just 1 week can cause a drop in their kidney function score by more than 10 points. Therefore, when you're sick, choose a painkiller like Tylenol that's gentle on the kidneys, and always consult your doctor before taking it. Rather than worrying about one egg, being careful about one medicine is the best way to protect your kidneys. Finally, here's one more tip for seniors who have lost a lot of muscle mass. Regular kidney tests can produce different results depending on muscle mass. Therefore, if you have very little muscle mass, consider requesting a separate test called cystatin C. This is a cutting-edge test that accurately measures only your kidney function, regardless of muscle mass. These kidney care tips I share today are incredibly important. If you feel inspired to put them into practice right away, please leave a comment with the word practice, or you can simply leave the number 1. Your small commitment will be the first step toward a healthy, 100-year-old life. Let's share the audio in the comments and go together until the end. One day, 3 months later, the sound of 73-year-old Choi Jongmi's footsteps as she opened the door to the clinic was different. In the past, she had barely managed to enter, as if dragging her shoes, but this time, her footsteps were brisk. My heart brightened as I saw her face as she sat down. A pleasant rosy glow appeared on her once sweet cheeks. She smiled brightly and held my hand tightly. She bragged about how I started eating eggs and tofu every morning, just like my teacher said, and now my knees feel so strong that I can walk to school to pick up my grandchildren. A body scan showed that she'd regained lost muscle mass and her weight was returning to normal. I also checked my kidney walking score, which was crucial, and the results were surprising. Compared to when I completely cut out protein, my score had actually increased slightly, showing a very stable level. Elderly Choi Jongmi's words echo in my mind. She said that in the past, eating anything felt like it would damage her kidneys, and every day was a source of dread. But now, she looks forward to meal times, knowing that it's fueling her body. That's exactly what I mean. Everyone, the reason to protect your kidneys isn't simply to raise your score a few points. It's to walk with loved ones, share delicious food, and live each day with energy. Let me summarize the 3 key points I discussed today. First, if your Kidney Walk Network score is 45 or higher, eating 1 egg a day is the best tonic for protecting your precious muscles. Second, when eating eggs, be sure to mix them with tofu, which dilates kidney blood vessels, in a 1-to-1 ratio, and eat them soft-boiled or steamed. Finally, avoid anti-inflammatory painkillers, the real culprit that destroys the kidneys, and make it a habit to eat vegetables first when eating. Dear teachers, there's absolutely no need to give up all the joys of life just because your kidneys are a little weak. Proper knowledge is the most powerful weapon to overcome vague fears. The methods I've shared today are ones that can be easily implemented not only by Choi Jongmi, but also by all of you watching this video. If you have friends around you who are struggling with lack of energy, please share this video with them. Your small interest and sharing could be a great hope for someone, helping them get back on their feet. As your trusted doctor, I will always be here to provide you with the easiest and most accurate health information. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you start your day energetically tomorrow morning with the diet I shared today. I sincerely hope you all have a healthy and happy old age. Please stay healthy today as well. Music